This is the artifact from our trip to Japan. Those are business cards. Hello world, Tim here from Art Flâneur, and today I'll cover the topic that has been building up for quite some time, and it's related to our trip to Japan earlier this year. Now, to give a background, we've been trying to apply for startup visa in Kyoto for quite some time actually, and late last year, after probably second or third attempt to apply for it, we got an email from a nice person from Kyoto Immigration who suggested that we try and apply for this program called Kyoto 90 Stay, which was in its second year running. So we did. We created a presentation and sent it out. And after about a couple of weeks, we got a reply saying, let's catch up for a Zoom call, which we did. Had a really nice chat, and that was it. And then about a month later, we got an email saying that we've been accepted to this program, along the other 3 startups. And this program is about running for 3 months between January and March. In our case, it was just, we could only do 2 because of the work constraints. So we left and went there in early February. So this video, I thought I'd cover some things that may be interesting to people who are trying to do business in Japan, and probably in Kyoto in particular, because of its own quirks and its own culture. Now, let's start with the biggest pain points right away. Language. Everything in Japan is, as you probably guessed, in Japanese. This is probably fairly different to many other countries where there's a lot higher chances of finding somebody local who speaks English. In Japan, it's not the case. So you either need to be able to speak fluent business Japanese, or have someone help you and do the translation. In our case, our Japanese is pretty much non-existent. It's pretty poor in my case anyway, and we were lucky enough to always have someone to translate things for us. That is, except going to things like meetups. And meetups is something that generally run by Japanese people for Japanese audience, unless of course it's run by expats. But because we were really interested to see how the Japanese business culture works, so we thought, okay, we'll just go and see what happens. In our case, we used a translator. I think it's called one of the Microsoft apps that does the real-time translation, so you can actually see what people are saying. That was definitely a huge help. It didn't cover all the aspects, but it gave us a general idea. Another point is presentation and how you generally present the information. From what we saw, it's normally happens on a single page, be that especially on the website or printed out page. People put all the information on one page. It may look ugly, but the reason for that is to let people know about your product, about what you do in a single place. So there's none of this try before you buy or click here to find out more. That's considered to be rude. So if you're starting to make content and that to be presented to Japanese, do not put any minimalist websites, especially not if you're trying to sell something. In terms of business relationships, all of them are done on trust, and trust is something that takes a very long time to build. Sometimes, from what we were told, it can take years. So patience is the key. Do not rush things. Do not expect that someone will actually give you a yes or no or even maybe within a week after a meeting. It can take weeks, it can take months, with a lot of communication going back and forth. And sometimes you think you're wasting your time, but it's actually, that's the way things are done. So once again, be patient. Now let's cover the business cards. This is something that's completely non-negotiable. If you're going to Japan, if you're going to be speaking to Japanese people, in business or otherwise, make sure you have your business card sorted. Now, this is really, really important, and I'll cover it a bit later. Why exactly? Now, when you meet someone and you start speaking, it's generally you get your business card. And by the way, ideally, if you print them horizontally, not vertically, because it's easier to read. So you get your card with two hands and hand it over. You may bow a little bit, that's okay. Hand it. And when the person gives you their card, you look at it and you read out the name and bow again and say thank you and nice to meet you. That's the protocol. And it's pretty easy to get a hand off. It's not that scary. So, but it's nice. Now, this is something that we didn't do enough of, I think, while being in Japan. This is something related to paper presentation. If you go into a meeting, especially in a group of people, it's generally advisable to print out whatever you're going to be presenting. And you generally know ahead of time how many people are going to be there, and you print out enough copies. And the reason why I'm saying you know how many people are going to be there is because when somebody says they're going to come in to the meeting, they will be there. You can be 100% sure of that. So print out enough copies and you generally hand them over. Now, the paper, using the paper as much as it's done in Japan is probably not my favorite thing, but that's probably a topic for another video. That is something we're actually trying to cover as part of our business. Another thing that's just as important and non-negotiable is punctuality. Japanese people are very punctual. This spans across all aspects of life, from a tradesman visiting your place to fix a gas leak, to mailman delivering your paper, to business meetings. Everyone is always on time. Everyone generally shows up about exactly 2 minutes before the meeting starts. So do not be late. If you're late one time, people may say, okay, that's fine. Second time is pretty bad vibe. So they may not tell you that you've been rude, but just be on time and don't be late, no matter what happens. Another thing is follow up. But what I mean by that, when you meet someone at the meeting or meetups, if you exchange the cards, you generally have the person's email address. So it's advisable to get back to them within 24 hours. It's just a nice gesture. You email them with a very quick message saying, it's been a pleasure meeting you. You can basically summarize whatever has been discussed and that you're looking forward to talking to them in the future. This is something that really, really nice to be done. And even if you're not going to be meeting that person ever again, it's still a good thing to do. Your clothing, what you wear. Japanese business people, as you probably already know, always wear suits. So if you have a suit, it's advised to wear one. If you don't, wear something business casual. So no flip-flops, no t-shirts. Some people do wear t-shirts at startups, but it's generally not something you want to wear when you're going to meet somebody. It's just not a nice gesture. Even if you go attend meetups, people generally wear suits. So just dress up. Another thing, a bit of a probably personal anecdote, but when attending meetups, just need to know that they generally go for quite some time, between 2 and 3 hours, and they normally happen in the evening. Now, before you go there, it's advisable to eat something. This may sound funny, but yes, please eat something, because this is probably handing over even food is not something you'd see. The most you'd probably see is some crackers and alcohol. And if you didn't eat beforehand and had a bit of an alcohol, that's not gonna go well. But alcohol is something that's always presented. Now, the last hour of the meetup is generally dedicated to networking, and it's quite a serious thing, and actually something that I wish was done in other countries. This allows people to actually go and meet with each other in a sort of semi-official way, by exchanging cards, like I showed you earlier on. You can, even if someone was presenting, you normally get like a bit of a cue to that person before you get a chance to speak to them. And no matter, at least in our experience, no matter how many Japanese people there are, and if it's completely in Japanese, there's always 1 or 2 people who have a bit of knowledge in English. And what normally happens, they generally approach you, and you can have a bit of a chat. And then that gives you a chance for them to introduce you again to the presenter, for example, or to other people that they know. And this is how generally relationships start. You go exchange your cards, have a bit of a brief chat, whether it's with a translator or if someone speaks a bit of English, and then you go from there. After the meetup is finished, people generally go out for drinks, and this is something that gives them a chance to continue building the relationship. In fact, going out and drinking is completely normal thing to do after work. That's where you see people actually properly relax, and you can actually build pretty good relationship with them. I'm not advising that you should be drinking a lot, definitely not, but you'll see people getting more relaxed, and you can actually have a normal, non-business-like conversation. And this is something that you have to get used to. Is to have a very, very solid line between when you're working and you're doing business and when you're relaxing. There's hardly ever the gray line between. So to summarize, here are the things that are non-negotiable. Number 1 is punctuality. Just be on time. Number 2, dress code. Dress up neatly. Suit if you must, if you have one. 3, business cards. Print them out. 4, cram as much information in the smallest possible space as you can, especially if you're trying to tell people about your product. So there's very important things. And that's pretty much it for now. It's a very high level overview, but if you'd like me to dive into any specific topic about deeper, I'm more than happy to. So just type in the comments below. Thanks very much. Bye now.